Number 2, a regular triangular prism. Regular means that it has the same angle measurement on each of its vertices. And remember that a prism doesn't necessarily have to be standing up and down. This one is laying on its side, as you can tell that the triangles are here versus up and down. So let's start with the height. Height is 12 meters, even if it's on its side. And then we need to go to the perimeter. Okay, now for this perimeter, we have a triangle. So the perimeter would be 3 times the side length because there's only 3 sides, right? So the perimeter is 3 times 9. So the perimeter is 27. Okay, now remember that h we talked about in the last problem, which is the height of the base. This will be important for this problem because in order to find the area of the base, we're going to need to know the height of the base. Okay, because area of a triangle, if you don't remember, is half the base times the height. So we need to find the height of this base. You need to find the height of it. Okay. And so what we create is a right triangle. So let's find the height of the space. Okay. So in my triangle, I'm looking for my height. And we know that the whole length is 9, so half the length would be 9 halves, right? The other information we know is that it's a regular triangle. So a regular triangle means each of the angles are the same measurement. Well, in order for that to be true, it would have to be how many degrees on each angle? 60, good. So if that's 60, that's 60. This one was cut in half, so that means each of these are 30. And what we create is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So let's remind ourselves of a 30, 60, 90 triangle pattern, which was we have our small leg, we have our long leg, and we have our hypotenuse. Small leg, long leg, and hypotenuse. Now, in order to go from a small leg to the height, we would multiply by, hopefully you said, square root of 3. Okay, good. Long leg is small leg times the square root of 3. Oh, let's write that over here a little bit bigger. So therefore, we have 9 halves times the square root of 3. Or in other words, the height is 9 square root of 3 divided by 2. So it's really important that you remember the information about those 30, 60, 90 triangles. So height is 9 square root of 3 divided by 2 meters. Now let's talk about the area. Okay, now the area of the base, remember, we said would be half of the base times the height. So half of the base length, which would be 9, and the height, which is 9 square root of 3 divided by 2. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and multiply through So we have 1 times 9 times 9, which is 81, square root of 3. And then 2 times 2, which is 4. So our base is 81 square root of 3 divided by 4 meters squared. Let's move on. Lateral area. Okay, lateral area, remind ourselves, is perimeter times height of the prism, so lowercase h. So this one, take our information. So 27 times 12, use our calculator, and we get 324 meters squared. Okay, now let's move on to surface area. Okay, surface area is lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So we have 324 plus 2 times 81 square root of 3 divided by 4. Now the biggest thing here is just going to be simplifying. So first, I'm going to simplify And so I could multiply 2 times 81, but also you could see that 2 divided by 4 could simplify right away, which would leave me with 81 square root of 3 divided by 2. Okay. But in order to add, this would also have to be divisible by 2. But currently it's divided by 1. So I would have to multiply this whole problem by 2 in order for those to combine together. So 324 times 2 is 648 halves. And now that they have the same denominator, I can finally combine them to be one problem. 648 plus 81 square root of 3 divided by 2. Which again is just simple math that we've learned before, where we simplify a fraction and we multiply to create a common denominator. So 648 plus 81 square root of 3 divided by 2 meters squared. Okay, last but not least, volume. Okay, volume is base times height. So 81 square root of 3 divided by 4 times 12. From here, we can simplify. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 81 square root of 3 times 3. 81 times 3 is 243 square root of 3. Just make sure, yes, 243 square root of 3. And we'll put that over here. And that would be meters cubed. And that is how we do a regular triangular prism. A bit harder than the square one because we have height that we have to deal with, and we end up having radicals and fractions. But again, we're building on skills throughout the year. You're fully capable of doing it, and we're going to move on to number 3 to introduce our cylinder.